In this topsy-turvy 2020 Texas high school football season, what does Week 8 have in store? These are the picks. Welcome into the picks presented by Visit Arlington, your guide to Texas high school football weekend. My name is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football on TexasFootball.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get this out of the way. Last week was bad, okay? It was a bad week for Texas high school football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football estimates that somewhere between 10 and 12% of all of the UIL 11-man Texas high school football games were either postponed or canceled last week, largely due to the coronavirus outbreak. It is escalating. We are having more games canceled each week, and that is bad. I don't think I need to tell you that that is bad. We all need to do our part, whatever it is, redouble our efforts, wear masks, social distance, do our part to slow the spread. If we want Texas high school football to continue, if we want it to thrive in 2020, we have to do our part. There you go. I'm off my soapbox. We're into Week 8 of the Texas high school football season, and there are huge games all across the state. We will start in Houston. 6 o'clock Thursday night at Legacy Stadium in Katy. A District 19 6A showdown is on tap as the Katy Tigers take on the Katy Tompkins Falcons. What are the keys to this matchup? Key number 1, can Milroe crack the code? Let's talk about Katy Tompkins quarterback Jalen Milroe. The Texas commit is special, plain and simple. He's one of the very best signal callers in the state of Texas, and he can do a little bit of everything. His arm is exceptional. He's got great arm strength, terrific accuracy, and he can make plays on the run as well. And by the way, whenever you need him to take off with it, he can do that. He is a game changer for this Falcons offense. Now he takes aim at one of the very best defenses in the state. I mean, the traditional power in Katy. When you think of Katy, you think of their defense, and this year is no different. Defensive back Hunter Washington leads an outstanding Tigers defense that is basically suffocating people right now, per usual. So, can Jalen Milroe find a way past this outstanding Tigers defense? Key number 2, Katy's youngsters. So this is not the Katy offense that we thought we were going to see, plain and simple. They are having to play a new sophomore quarterback in Caleb Koger. They're relying a lot more on running back Seth Davis because of players who either opted out or are no longer with the program. So this is a new look, younger offense for Katy, but that hasn't stopped them from being outstanding. I think this is a really dangerous Tigers attack, but let's remember a lot of sophomores and juniors leading this offense. So in a big district game, can Katy's youngsters step up? And key number 3, we're going streaking. I want you to think back to November 8th, 2008. What were you doing then? 12 years ago. I was a much younger man. What Katy was doing was they were losing an overtime thriller to Katy Cinco Ranch in a district showdown. Since then, they haven't lost a district game. 74 straight district wins for Katy. That is second in the state as far as active streaks are concerned, only behind Aledo, who has won 90 games in a row. This district winning streak for Katy is serious. But Tompkins is a huge threat to that. And Tompkins knows that. I think the new kid on the block, one of the youngest programs in Katy ISD, I think they know they can have a great chance to take down the mighty Tigers, take control of the district, and snap that long streak. So, can Tompkins do what nobody has been able to do in more than 12 years? Who am I picking? I'm going with Katy. You don't pick against a streak, plain and simple, and Katy at 74 wins in a row in district play has to get the nod here on the strength of what I think is a really blossoming defense. Hunter Washington and this outstanding secondary is just part of it. I think they're going to challenge Jalen Milroe and this Tompkins attack. The other part of it is that I think that the Tompkins defense has got to step up in a big way if they're going to win this. Even though this is not the Katy offense we thought we would see, I think that they are really humming along right now. The running game led by Seth Davis, I think, is a game changer. So I do think this game is close. I think the Tigers get a scare, but I think the win streak goes to 75 for the Katy Tigers. Let's go to the Coastal Bend, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi. It's a big-time 15-4A Division I showdown as the Corpus Christi Miller Buccaneers take on the Corpus Christi Calallen Wildcats. What are the keys to this one? Key number 1, the first quarter. There's no real other way to say this other than Miller starts fast and Calallen starts kind of slow. Calallen takes a little bit of time for them to get in gear, right? Usually 7-0 is a pretty good result for them in the first quarter. For Miller, they come out of the gates flying. They are really, really lightning in a bottle coming out of the locker room in the first quarter. They like to play from ahead, and it's really key for them to play from ahead. So, whenever the first 12 minutes of this game are over, where does the game stand? Key number 2, styles clash. So, what's really interesting about this game, everyone in Corpus Christi has been looking forward to it for seemingly like 3 years now. And one of the things that strikes me most is that these are two teams that win a lot and do it in totally different ways. For Calallen, it's that running game. It's that kind of modified wing T attack led by Jeremiah Earls. They just grind you out on the ground. That's what they do. For Miller, it's throw it all over the yard. Andrew Body, their quarterback, is terrific. One of the best kept secrets in Texas, I think, and his wide receiver core is outstanding. This is a huge stylistic clash. Which one shines brightest on Friday night? And key number 3, the Calallen Anaconda. So the way that Phil Danaher, the coach at Calallen, has become the all-time winningest coach in Texas high school football history is not fancy. It's not some sort of schematic advantage that they have that nobody else does. Plain and simple, they just play this style of football that over the course of 48 minutes, it suffocates you like an anaconda. Suddenly, it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and suddenly you find yourself behind by about 10 points with 3 minutes left, and you have nothing you can do. It's what they do. The defense just finds a way to take away the thing you do best, make you do something else, and then that running game just doesn't give you the ball. It's a 48-minute choke is what it is. My question in this one is, can Miller break through? Can Miller find a way to escape that grasp and maybe trick Calallen into a game they don't want to play? Calallen doesn't want to play a shootout. So, can Miller establish the tone in this game, or will the Calallen Anaconda choke out another victim? Who am I picking? I'm going with Calallen. I got to go with the Wildcats here because of their ball control. I think that the defense and the running game is going to be especially effective against this Miller team that is kind of relying on outscoring people. Their offense is really, really high-powered, but the defense leaves a little something to be desired right now. I think that the running game for Jeremiah Earls and that wing T attack is going to be able to get going. Furthermore, I think that Danaher and the Wildcats are going to be able to come up with a couple of extra stops that are going to be able to get Miller off the field. This comes down to the tone of the game, right? It's easy to see what a Miller win looks like. A Miller win is a game in the 40s. A Miller win is Andrew Body lighting it up. A Calallen win is something in the 20s, right? It's 28-14 or maybe 31-17, something like that. It's easy to see which game favors which team. I just think that Calallen's game plan is going to be sound enough to come away with one extra play to give them a critical district win. 7 o'clock Friday night at Freedom Field in Alvin. It's a huge Houston area showdown as the Manville Mavericks take on the Galena Park North Shore Mustangs. I really like what this Manville team has, especially defensively. I think they might actually be a year early. When you take a look at all the youngsters they've got with Justin Medlock and Tyree Scranton, this defense is really, really impressive. They're in for a huge test, right? Against Galena Park North Shore, Demetrius Davis, Shadrack Banks. The offense is really cooking. I do think the North Shore defense is still finding its way, which may provide an opportunity for Manville to spring the upset. I'm going with North Shore in this one, but keep an eye on it. 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Bearcat Stadium in Aledo. It's a matchup kind of thrown together at the last minute as the Cedar Hill Longhorns take on the Aledo Bearcats in a cross-classification showdown in DFW. You know, both these teams had their games canceled for this upcoming week, so they decided to get together and play. And so kudos to Carlos Lynn and Tim Buchanan for taking on the challenge of playing one another kind of on short notice. You know, Aledo has looked fantastic so far with their two big wins, one over Weatherford and one over Frisco. Lone Star quarterback Brant Hayden is really stepping up. They've moved to Marco Roberts, their star cornerback, to running back. JoJo Earl is a do-it-all dynamo, right? He can do a lot of different things. On the other side for Cedar Hill, in their opener against Arlington, they kind of scuffled a little bit out of the gates, but then they hit the Jets. And quarterback Caden Salter, an outstanding wide receiver core, is what awaits this Aledo team. I give Cedar Hill the edge for two reasons in this game. One, I think the Longhorns defense has taken a big step forward, and I think that's going to be able to challenge this Aledo offense, which has been really, really impressive so far. The other part is depth. Plain and simple, Cedar Hill's just got more depth than Aledo does. I think that in a close game in the fourth quarter, that's going to matter. I think Cedar Hill comes home with a win. And 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Indian Stadium in Tuscola, the District 3 3A Division I title is on the line as the Wall Hawks visit the Jim Ned Indians. Wall is a weird team in the sense that we don't really know a ton about them yet. I think that they don't have any bad losses. And I also think they don't really have, in hindsight, really any super impressive wins at this point. Even though last week against San Angelo TLC, they overmatched them, they had 8 different guys score touchdowns on the ground. That is hard to do. Going up against this Jim Ned team that I think we have a better feel for, right? They have an outstanding quarterback in Tate Yardley, a great running back in Xavier Wishart. They are a team that offensively is really impressive. The key in this one is going to be, can Jim Ned match up front defensively against this big Wall offensive line led by Tate Williams? That's a huge question in this one because not many 3A teams can match up with that Wall offensive line. So Wall has won more than 50 district games in a row, and they add another one to that tally. Give me the Hawks. But those are far from the only big games in Week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Let's get to the lightning round. I like Lake Travis over Buda. Hayes, give me Buffalo over Clifton. And Badger. I like Lampasas over Burnett. I like Eastland over Comanche. Give me El Paso Eastwood over El Paso Franklin. And Cedar Park stays hot with a win over Pflugerville-Hendrickson. I'm taking the Sharks over the Cobras. That's Palacios over Vanderbilt Industrial. Give me C.E. King to stay hot with a win over Huntsville. And I like Hawley over Stamford. I'm going with Winsboro over Emory Reigns. Shiner stays perfect with a win over Ganado. And San Angelo Central gets into the win column with a win over Abilene. I'm going with Carthage over Jasper. San Antonio Brennan over San Antonio Reagan. And in a close one to call, I think I like Rockwall over Highland Park. Rematch of the 2018 title game, I like Longview over Beaumont Westbrook. Give me Salado to take down China Spring. And I like Pottsboro over Mineola. Pearland Dawson beats Pearland. I like Crawford over Rio Vista. And in the Battle of Spring, I like Westfield over Spring High. I like Klein Kane over Klein. Give me Lovejoy over Denison. And Panhandle beats West Texas. Stratford beats Sunray. I think Paris gets by Terrell. And in one of the great rivalry games in Texas high school football, I think Midland Lee beats Odessa Permian. A couple of really underrated matchups here. I like Wink over McCamey. Give me Windthorst to get by Munster. And Normandy stays perfect with a win over Grapeland. I like Sherilyn Pioneer over McAllen Rowe. Give me Yoakum over Columbus. And Post beats New Deal. I like Wichita Falls Rider over Lubbock Coronado in a close one. Give me Idalou over Abernathy. And Mission Veterans Memorial beats Raymondville. Really interesting matchup in 4A. I like Iowa Park just barely over Graham. And in our 6-man game of the week, I'm taking Knox City over Kroll. And those are the picks. What am I wrong about? Which games did I leave out? Leave comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week 8 of the Texas high school football season. Be safe, wear a mask. We'll see you.